Dawson Rider review.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for the Triple Dino Team Up Triple Figure Pack from Power Rangers Beast Morphers Season 2 in honor of the upcoming Dino Team Up here in the US. And for those of us that skipped over to Earth 2 this summer, it already happened. But in honor of the Dino Team Up that happened this year, Hasbro released a triple figure pack in the basic figure line featuring one Ranger from each Dino season. Oddly enough, only one of which was really truly in it. Like, these two were soulless suits. We did get a voice actor for her, but you know, he was the only one that appeared in person, so I'm curious what their thought process was, why they didn't pick three Rangers that were actually in it, you know, like the actors. I guess they wanted to go for Jason and the Triceratops. Jason and the Triceratops, new band name, I call it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with these. I'm going to go kind of in season order, and let's start with Jason first, because this is, no joke, one of the best looking mmpr red figures we've gotten, just in terms of helmet accuracy and general proportions too. It's not perfect, guys. These are the basic figures. These are the ones that would be about, what, I think $8 if you just bought them individually. So you do have stuff like paint mistakes, just like with the lightning ones. So you might want to watch out for this. I got these ones on Amazon, but they're supposed to show up at Target too. So if you want to wait to see them in person, you might want to, you know, check that out and like compare them, because I did have a little paint mistake there. But this is honestly one of the most accurate mmpr red head sculpts. No joke, which is really weird to say. Like, I'm going to compare it in a second to the lightning one, which is very inaccurate, which I think kind of sucks for a collector's line, and is one of my few true complaints about the lightning collection. But that being said, setting aside the lightning one, for whatever reason, mmpr red's helmet has been one of the hardest for them to get right over the years since mmpr started, and this is one of the most accurate proportioned ones I've ever seen, and it looks really nice, sans the little paint mistake I have on it. But it's not a perfect figure, mind you. I do think that the general sculpt is a really nice proportion for like what they actually look like, but you do have some discrepancies, like there's a darker red here and a lighter red here, which is a little bit annoying. You know, you don't have the high quality details, although there is a nice shape of the Tyrannosaurus coin, but it's kind of hard to mess up since it's just red and white, and you did do the two different colors there, but there's not a lot of details missing because of that. But it's not the most high quality. The weapon's actually pretty decent though. I mean, for the basic figure one, if this was Bandai, not that I hate Bandai, but if this was Bandai, we would just be getting a gray one. But you have actually a couple different colors here. The Tyrannosaurus mold, you have the nice details there. So for a basic figure, it's not bad. And I do have some loose joint problems with it. The joints are a little bit loose, and then the knee and the elbow joints are a little bit sticky on all three of these guys, and I felt like, oh, the legs don't bend, but they're just really hard to break out of it, so be careful. But as a result of the sort of weird joints and the loose joints, he does have problems standing sometimes, so there's definitely some nitpicks with it. You might not have that problem though, as I've gotten Beast Morphers figures where some of them are problematic and others weren't, so it's just kind of a case-by-case basis. But just look-wise, aside from the color discrepancies, this is a darn good-looking mmpr red figure, and I'm really impressed with it for that. Like, again, I can't believe that this is the one that they finally got the helmet sculpt right on. Okay, I just had to stand him up straight because he wasn't cooperating. But so you can see right here, he's in scale. He's a little bit taller. This one seems a little bit taller, but he's in scale with the basic Beast Morphers figures there, so it's like that same type of figure. Also, something I never noticed about, I really like the joints on these. Aside from them being sticky, they have a really nice way of, when they're folded up, like hiding the fact that they're knee joints. Like right here, it almost looks like you can't bend it. That's actually really nice for a basic figure. But here it is compared to the lightning figure. Obviously you have a lot higher quality details and paint on this and better articulation, but you can see the difference in the head sculpt and how much more accurate this is. Again, like, they've had a hard time getting this head sculpt right for almost all of the mmpr red figures that have ever released, and they recently had the Nutcracker one get the proportion really well done. And some people said, oh, that's because it's a bigger scale, that's why they were able to do it right. But look what they did here, and also for all the other Red Rangers. So again, I think people can be a little bit too snooty about the Lightning collection, but this is definitely one of my least favorite releases for helmets, and it's kind of embarrassing that the basic figure has a better head sculpt than it. The only other comparison I wanted to draw just for fun was, this is the Dimensions in Danger Red Ranger robot that they released, which obviously, man, this is so much of a better sculpt. But I just wanted to highlight, Bandai also did a special figure for the anniversary movie, which was cool. Though this one was, you know, not movie, episode, you know what I mean. But I wanted to show off that comparison. But now let's go over to Ethan. So Dino Thunder Blue over here, actually a pretty solid figure as well. Again, I think that the general mold works well for these in terms of looking kind of like the suits, more skinny, not overly muscular. And I think think I forgot to show it in Jason because I got so caught up in the details, but you have that basic articulation you get with your standard figures. As I mentioned, the joints on here are a little sticky. In fact, I'm not even going to press that one because they can be a little bit stiff, which is kind of annoying and like makes you worried you're going to break it. But the elbows do bend if they would allow me to, and you get the head and neck articulation there. So decently articulated for these figures, but again, some slight loose joint problems and some slight stickiness there. Oh, and accessories wise, obviously you can see here he comes with the Thunder Max Saber in Saber mode, and then he has the blaster mode as well, although he doesn't have a holster to hold it, which is kind of weird. And they kind of look like the blow-up toy version, like the bath toy version, which is kind of strange. Like, I think Jason's Power Sword looks a little bit better. But the head sculpt on this is actually pretty well done. I'm pretty pleased with it. It looks honestly pretty accurate. Mine has some weird paint mistake where it looks like dust on there, but it's not dust, but at least there's nothing major on the helmet. And the visor is supposed to be white instead of silver, but it's actually one of the most proportionately accurate Dino Thunder blue helmets I've seen. Now, I do have a comparison here of the Legacy figure. There isn't a Lightning one yet, so this is the Legacy one, which I didn't think was a bad figure, but I think this head sculpt's actually a little bit more proportionate, but you can see the differences there. And obviously, this is meant to be kind of a larger scale and a more muscly. Like I said, this one's not bad, but this one actually gets the helmet better. And then I'll put up on screen just a quick picture of the old original 2004 release, and this is definitely an improvement over that. So even though I think this one has its merits, this is oddly enough one of the better Dino Thunder Blue releases until we get an eventual Lightning figure. Alright, now on to Shelbs here, who got unfortunately skimped on a Triceralots. Now to talk about the positives, I think the general sculpt and proportion is pretty well done. Like the girl mold on these also looks pretty good and proportionate to what it's like in the show. You get the same basic level of articulation, although I do have some slight loose joint problems. The skirt's pretty well done. I'm not trying to be awkward, but I'm just trying to show you that you can get some poses in there without it being an overly hard skirt piece you have to cut or something like that, so it's pretty well done there. She comes with her morpher here, which is basically painted, and then same thing with the saber, but she has both of them. Also, this isn't related to her, but Jason came with a blade blaster, so I wanted to show that off before I forgot it. And so I guess the proportions are good on that. I think the helmet proportions are good, because if you watch in the show, the helmet for Pink is a little bit bigger than her body, so I think proportion-wise, they actually did a good job on that, but unfortunately, she's missing the most details, and this is the basic figure line, so I'm a little bit more lenient. Like, she's missing the outline of her helmet, which almost makes me think of the cockpit mode power-ups, even though that was where it was missing the mouthpiece and not the outline so much, but that kind of makes me think of that. And then there's a little missing paint here, and she's missing the little symbol right here, which kind of stands out. Again, this is the basic figure line, but they seem like pretty big omissions, mainly because usually when it's something like that, there's like the general shape of it, like it's not as detailed, like the Morpher or Ethan's Morpher. You know, it's not painted, but you know it's there, and it just seems like they kind of forgot. So it would have been nice to at least see one of those things, and it's kind of unfortunate that she's the one that got skimped on, because I think the general mold is pretty well done with that. The only one I really have to compare to, which I don't have on me, but I'll put up a picture on screen, is her original Action Hero release, and I still stand by the Action Hero figures. I think they were solid, and I think that, you know, there was some better paint on that one in certain aspects, but I think this one's, like, proportion sculpt is better, but it's kind of unfortunate that she got skimped on. Overall, guys, though, I think this is a really neat but very imperfect set. Like, there's lots of little problems I ran across, but no different than ones I ran across with the basic ones, and like I said, you might not run into those. It just kind of varies, so you might get a close to perfect set with it. But for basic figures, these are pretty darn solid, especially mmpr Red I was really impressed with, and for the price, if you want any of these, I can definitely recommend checking them out. I think that's actually one of the things I've been most impressed with the Hasbro line, is actually the basic line, because I wasn't expecting very much from them, and they're honestly pretty decent for what you're getting. And I think it's cool in general that they decided to do the set for the team up. I was kind of hoping they might do a couple more, and who knows, maybe they would. But like I said, overall, final verdict, this is an imperfect set with some of the same problems you'll run into, but I think it's also pretty neat with some hidden gem moments in it. It's definitely worth taking a look at if you're a fan of any of these Rangers or are excited for the Dino Team Up. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell for notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.